most part, getting up early is not something that college students are well known for. But the U of R women's crew team is an exception. They take to the water before most of their classmates have even hit the snooze button for the first time.
Cool.
Brown hair, sitting ready at the finish.
It's something that might take some getting used to, but even when they had the chance to switch, the girls opted to keep their practices the way they are.
I actually prefer it. It's interesting enough that last year we had an opportunity to potentially practice in the afternoon. I had a show of hands and I had two of them say, yeah, let's go afternoon. So I think they get used to the lifestyle, so they get used to being morning people. So they're kind of like, my day is set, I'm ready to go. Once practice is over, I don't have to worry about that coming at me.
It really helped to get me used to the college schedule, though. I'm probably the only college student that goes to bed at 9, but it sure helps with studying and making sure I get everything done. I'm glad I did it.
Aside from being an early riser, to be good at crew, it takes a lot of skills and abilities that other sports develop, which is good because a lot of the girls are getting into the boat for the first time when they get to college.
It's an odd combination of being a team sport and an individual sport. You have to push yourself in the seat, but you also have to line up with the other girls in the boat. So it's, for someone who was a runner like me, to go into being a team sport, it was a great transition.
Teamwork and making sure it's completely selfless teamwork. I think rowing is one of the most selfless forms of teamwork that there is. I mean, you're only as strong as your weakest rower, whereas on a team like soccer or football, you've got second strings, third strings. We don't really have that in a boat. You can't just sub someone in the middle of a race or something like that. Yeah.
Ladies, I'm going to give you're going to get 5 strokes to build, then I want you to push start. 5th stroke, that's when I want you to hit start, okay?
You said it's already in the speed coach? 4 steps back at nice and light. Okay, middle pair out.
Just as long as the two of you are within relative equalness when you start, it really doesn't
Jade is a
matter.
coxswain. She's pretty much the captain of the boat. It might look like she's just sitting there and yelling at her team, but there's a lot more going on than you might know, controlling the boat and the crew, something that can almost be overwhelming.
You're looking at rates, you're looking at times, splits, the amount of strokes you're taking, and on top of that, there is a lot of steering that goes into it. I think that was my biggest issue going into the sport, was knowing how to steer and do it well. And when we come to races, you have to know your events, the boats before you, the time you have to launch, all of that fun stuff. Yeah.
On race day, I can't communicate with them. Coaches aren't allowed to have anything, so that's the person out there that becomes the coach. So they're steering the boat, right? They're calling the race plan. They're having to adapt as things change in the race plan. You know, we'll give them a plan, and 9 times out of 10, something else happens. They've got to react to it. They got to be able to pull that together, and then they've got 8 athletes that they've got to motivate to get down a race course and put everything into it when they're just sitting there. You know, so how they have a special bond with their rowers, you know. So even during the winter workouts, they come out and they'll do the workouts with the rowers just to show them that, you know, they want to keep up with it so that they all trust each other, they all bond with each other.
There are actually 2 seasons for crew. This time of year, they are doing distance races, while in the spring, they do sprints. Jade doesn't hesitate when you ask her which one she favors.
I prefer the spring, mainly because sprints it was my first season in high school. We didn't have fall when I started, and there's less steering involved, so I can focus more on my rowers and less on making sure that I'm not about to hit anyone, which I like a lot better.
First one, let's keep it down about 22. Okay? 22 for 22 strokes, so for a minute, okay? On my call.
Because in sprint racing, you got 6 lanes wide. Everybody's racing each other, and there's all this noise, all this commotion, and keeping the crew focused and making sure we're just worrying about what we're trying to do and not somebody else.
There are some other benefits to getting up so early in the morning. The scenery along the Genesee can be beautiful.